Good morning and happy Monday. All right, I've got a quick video for class this morning, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to review our signs. Remember, this is the less than sign. X is less than 4, okay? Here is our less than or equal to sign, okay? This little line underneath is the equal to. So x is less than or equal to 5. This is the greater than sign. This says x is greater than 1. And this is the greater than or equal to sign. X is greater than or equal to 7. Okay? It's very important that you understand how these signs work and that you know what they are. Now we're going to review how we graph inequalities on a number line. Okay, remember, if the circle is closed, the value is included, and that just means that the number that it sits on can also be an answer. Okay, if the circle is open, the value is not included. That means that the circle where the circle sits, that number is not an answer, but all the numbers where the arrow is pointing is an answer. Here's another way to remember it. If the sign has a line underneath, then this circle will be closed. Okay, this equal to line gives us a closed circle, and that means that our number where the circle sits is an answer, because we would write 3 is greater than or equal to 3, and that is true. Or 3 is less than or equal to 3, and that is true because 3 is equal to 3. Here's another way. If the sign does not have a line underneath, then the circle will be open. So let's review a few things real fast, and then we will learn something new. Let x equal 7. Is this a true statement? 5x is greater than 35. Okay, the first thing we need to do is we've got to fill in where it says x, okay? Because it says x equals 7. So I'm going to take that information and I'm going to plug it in for x. So I'm going to write 5. And then x is 7, so I'm going to write a 7. But this number does not become 57. Okay, we put parentheses right here. It means 5 times 7 is greater than 35. Okay, so now we need to work this out. Well, what is 5 times 7? Five times 7 is 35. So now we have 35 is greater than 35. So is this a true statement? No, this is false because 35 is not greater than 35, okay? 35 is equal to 35. Let's do another one. I hope y'all are remembering this. This one says, let x equal 14. Is this a true statement? Well, it says x equals 14. So the first thing I have to do is take my 14 and go plug it in for x. So now it says 14 is greater than or equal to 14. Is this a true statement? That is true because 14 is equal to 14, and that line right there means equal. That makes it the same thing as saying 14 is equal to 14. All right, let's review how to graph on a number line. X is greater than 6. Okay, there's no line underneath, so I know it's going to be an open circle, and that number tells me where I'm going to put my open circle. So I'm going to go put an open circle on the number 6. Now, which way does my arrow point? Well, it says x is greater than 6. So x has to be any number greater than 6. So I'm going to point to all the numbers greater than 6. What about this one? X is less than or equal to 7. Okay, there's a line underneath. So I know it's going to be a closed circle. Which number? That number, the number 7. So I'm going to go put a closed circle on the number 7. And it says x is less than or equal to 7. So I've got to point to all the numbers less than 7. All right. So now let's learn something new. Okay. We're going to learn how to solve one-step inequalities. And what that means is we want to find out what numbers that letter K could be. Okay. That letter K is called a variable. Okay, so here are our directions. Isolate the variable, get it by itself, by using the inverse operation. Remember balance. Okay, so this is our variable. We want to get it by itself by using the inverse operation. And what that means is we want to get rid of this 14. Okay, if we have 14, how do we get rid of 14? How can we turn this into a 0? Well, we can subtract 14, right? Subtract 14. So now 14 minus 14 equals 0. So I can cross that out. So now I have K by itself. I'm going to write it right here. K. But anything you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Okay, I'm going to draw a line right here. And that tells me anything I do to the one side, I have to do to the other. So now I'm going to subtract 14 on this side as well. So what is 22 minus 14? It is 8. Okay, so now we have K is greater than or equal to 8. Okay, so now we've solved our one-step inequality, so let's graph it. K is greater than or equal to, I know I'm going to do a closed circle because of my equal sign. And where am I going to put a closed circle? That number 8 right there. So I'm going to put a closed circle on the number 8. And it says K is greater than. So which way does my arrow point? All the numbers greater than K. Okay. Let's do another one. Isolate the variable by using the inverse operation. Okay, so here's our variable, the letter Y, and we need to get it by itself. We have minus 5. How do we get rid of minus 5? We do the inverse operation. So now we're going to add 5. Okay, if I have negative 5 and I add 5 plus 5, now that gives me 0. Okay, so now I can cross these out. Y is by itself, so I'll write it right here. Y. But remember, whatever you do to this side of the sign, you have to do to this side. So we added 5 on that side, so now we're going to add 5 on this side. If I have negative 12 and I add 5, okay, I'm actually going to do, if you remember our rules from adding and subtracting positive and negative integers, I'm actually going to do 12 minus 5, okay, which gives me 7. And I'm going to take the sign of the greater number. The greater number is negative, so it's going to be negative. So now we have Y is less than negative 7. Okay, I know it's going to be an open circle because there's no equal sign. And I'm going to go put it on the negative 7. So open circle on negative 7. and it says y is less than negative 7. So I'm going to point to all the numbers less than negative 7. All right, let's do another one. We got 2 more. 3v is less than 21. Isolate the variable, which is the letter, by using the inverse operation. Well, when we have 2 numbers right next to each other, we know that means multiply. So how do we do the opposite of multiply? The opposite of multiply is divide. So I'm going to draw a line here. And I'm going to divide by 3. I don't know why it keeps doing that. All right, let me try something else. Let me go back. Okay, now we're going to divide by 3 because that's the opposite. Okay, so I can cross that out. I've got v by itself, v. Now, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So now I'm going to divide by 3 on this side. What is 21 divided by 3? It should be 7. So now we have v is less than 7. How do I graph this on my number line? I know it's an open circle, and it goes on that number right there. So I'm going to go put an open circle on my number 7. Now it says v is less than 7, right? Alligator always eats the bigger number. So now I'm going to point to all of the numbers less than 7. Okay, so we're going to stop right there for now. Wanted to make this a short video. We'll go over this more in class, but be sure to watch your videos in the OLS and email me or text me if you have any questions.